kindness without needing many words. Bringing safety without pressure. Bringing peace little by little. Some nights, healing begins very quietly. Not through dramatic moments. Not through sudden answers. But through gentle peace slowly entering a tired heart. Through breathing becoming softer. Through muscles slowly unclenching. Through anxious thoughts gradually losing their grip. Through finally realizing you do not have to carry everything alone anymore. And tonight, perhaps that healing is already beginning inside you. Slowly, softly, quietly. The night feels different when you remember that God is here. Not distant, not cold, not angry, but compassionate, patient, watching over you with tenderness. Even now, while your eyes grow heavier, while your lips become quieter, while your breathing becomes calmer, God remains close. You are safe here tonight. Safe to rest. Safe to let go. Safe to stop replaying every fear. Safe to simply exist without pressure for a while. It can wait until morning. The unfinished things can wait. The fears can wait. Right now, your soul needs rest. Deep, gentle, peaceful rest. Stands that. Anyone. Self lean into that peace. Let yourself soften. Let yourself breathe deeper. There is no emergency in this moment. No danger in this room. No pressure to stay mentally alert. You are allowed to rest now. Completely. Fully. Without guilt. Sometimes anxiety convinces the mind that resting is irresponsible. That relaxing means losing control. That staying mentally tense somehow keeps life together. But your heart was never created to live in constant survival mode. You were not designed to carry endless stress without rest. And tonight, God gently invites you to slow down, to breathe, to release. Tonight, even the darkness feels more peaceful, more still, and maybe your thoughts so too. Maybe your heartbeat is becoming calmer. Maybe your nervous system is finally realizing you are safe in this moment. Safe enough to rest. In your grip on fear. Safe enough to close your eyes tonight. While God continues watching over you. You do not need to monitor every possible outcome tonight. You do not need to prepare for every future pain. You do not need to solve every uncertainty before sleeping. The night was not created for fear. It was created for rest. For restoration. For quiet healing. And slowly now, your soul is entering that quieter place. One gentle breath at a time. One peaceful moment at a time. One soft prayer at a time. God is here. Still watching over your life. Still protecting your heart. Still surrounding this night with peace. And as the night grows deeper, and quieter, and softer, your mind can begin letting go too. little by little, without force, without pressure, simply resting inside the steady presence of God. Tonight, you are not alone, and you do not need to be afraid anymore, because God is watching over you tonight. And as this quiet night continues, allow your breathing to remain slow, gentle, unhurried. There is nowhere else you need to be right now. Nothing else you need to prove. The day has already ended. And now, your tired soul is being invited into rest. Real rest. The kind that slowly untangles the tension hidden deep inside the body. The kind that softens anxious thoughts. The kind that reminds your heart you are still being held by God tonight. Even if your mind has felt crowded lately. Even if your emotions have felt heavy. Even if you have been silently carrying worries nobody fully understands. God has not lost sight of you. Not once. For a single moment. He has remained close through every exhausting hour. Through every hidden fear. Through every moment your heart quietly whispered, I can't keep carrying all of this. And maybe that is exactly why you are here tonight. Because your soul needs somewhere safe to finally exhale. Some people carry stress so long, they forget what calmness even feels like. The body stays tense. The thoughts stay alert. The heart stays prepared for the next problem. The next disappointment. The next fear. And eventually, even rest begins to feel difficult. Even silent familiar. Because the nervous system becomes so used to surviving. Tonight, God is gently slowing everything down inside you. Not suddenly, not forcefully, but softly, patiently, like rain falling quietly in the middle of the night, like distant waves rolling across dark water, like soft wind moving through trees while the world sleeps. That same gentle peace is slowly reaching your heart now. You do not need to resist it. You do not need to earn it. Just breathe and allow yourself to rest here. For a while. The night feels softer when you stop fighting every thought. And maybe tonight, you do not need to answer every anxious question in your mind. Maybe you do not need the future before morning. Maybe it is okay to simply exist in God's presence for a little while, without pressure, without fear, without trying so hard to hold everything together. Because the truth is, you have been carrying so much, perhaps more than most people. Maybe you carried emotional pain quietly today. Maybe you carried financial worries, stress about your future, your family, your health, your responsibilities. Maybe you spent the entire day appearing calm, while internally, your thoughts never truly slowed down. And now the night has arrived. And your tired mind is finally revealing just how exhausted you really are. But listen carefully tonight. God is not disappointed in your exhaustion. He is not frustrated by your anxious thoughts. He is not distant from your emotional struggles. He understands how deeply tired you have become. And his night feels gentle, steady, quietly comforting, like someone sitting beside you in silence. offering peace without demanding words. There is healing in that kind of quiet presence. Healing in knowing you do not have to survive this night alone. You are not abandoned with your thoughts, not abandoned with your fears, not abandoned with the heaviness sitting inside your chest. God is still here, still watching over you, still surrounding this night with calmness. And your breathing may already feel deeper. Your shoulders may already feel slightly lighter. Your heartbeat may already be settling into a slower rhythm. Because peace often begins quietly, before the mind fully notices it. Tonight, you are safe enough to rest, safe enough to loosen your grip on worry, safe enough to stop mentally preparing for every possible outcome, safe enough to let your thoughts drift more slowly now. The darkness outside no longer feels so heavy. God's presence fills even the quietest hours of the night. And while much of the world sleeps, He remains awake, watching over every detail of your life, even the details that currently confuse you, even the situations you do not understand, even the prayers that still feel unanswered. God remains present through all of it. Steady, calm, unchanging. There is something deeply peaceful about realizing you do not have to control everything tonight. You do not have to hold your entire future in your hands. You do not have to carry tomorrow's fears into this moment. For now, you are simply being invited to rest, to breathe, to let your exhausted soul become quiet again. And maybe, as the night deepens, you can begin releasing some of the emotional weight you carried all day. Not all at once. There is no pressure here. But little by little, breath by breath, thought by thought, allow yourself to soften. Allow your racing mind to slow. Allow your tired heart to feel comforted. Sometimes people become so accustomed to anxiety that peace almost feels unfamiliar. The silence feels strange. The stillness feels uncomfortable. The mind keeps searching for problems to solve. But tonight, you do not need to search for problems. You do not need to stay emotionally alert. You do not need to carry invisible pressure anymore. God is already holding what you cannot carry tonight. And slowly now, your soul can rest inside the truth. Imagine the quiet night sky above you. Dark, vast, peaceful. The stars resting silently in the distance. The soft stillness covering the earth. The world slowing down. And somewhere within that stillness, God remains near to you. Closer than fear. Closer than anxiety. Closer than the painful thoughts trying to keep you awake. His peace moves gently, without force, without pressure, like calm water slowly smoothing over restless waves. And perhaps your thoughts are becoming softer now too. Less sharp, less heavy, less urgent. You survived this day. And now your body needs rest. Your mind needs gentleness. Your heart needs quiet comfort. Not criticism. Not pressure. Not fear. Just peace. Deep peace. The kind that slowly settles into the soul during quiet nights like this. The kind that reminds you You are loved even when exhausted. You are cared for even when emotionally overwhelmed. You are not failing simply because you are tired. God sees how hard you have been trying, even when nobody else notices. He sees the strength it took just to keep going. He sees the hidden battles inside your mind. He sees the nights you smiled while silently hurting. And tonight, He simply invites you to rest. Nothing more. Just rest. Breathe slowly now. Feel the safety of this quiet moment. Feel the gentleness surrounding the night. Feel your body becoming heavier against the bed beneath you. Feel your thoughts slowly drifting further apart. Less rushed. Less crowded. Less overwhelming. There is no need to hurry yourself into sleep. The night itself is already carrying you there slowly. Softly. Peacefully. And God remains beside you through every moment of it, watching over you with tenderness, protecting your weary heart, covering your restless thoughts with calmness. Even now, while your eyes grow heavier, while your breathing deepens, while your mind slowly quiets, God stays near, steady, loving, safe. And tonight, that gentle presence is enough. Enough for your tired soul. Enough for your anxious mind. Enough for this quiet night. So let the darkness become softer now. Let the silence become comforting. Let your thoughts drift more slowly. There is no danger here. No pressure. No need to keep fighting invisible battles tonight. You are allowed to rest completely, while God watches over you. Through every quiet hour of the night. Through every peaceful breath. Through every slow moment leading you gently toward sleep. The night continues quietly now. Softly. Gently. And perhaps your mind is already beginning to feel a little less crowded, a little less tense, a little less afraid. You do not need to force peace to happen tonight. You do not need to chase rest. Sometimes the soul begins healing simply because it finally feels safe enough to slow down. And tonight, God is creating that safe place around your heart. A quiet place. Far away from pressure. Far away from fear. Far away from the exhausting need to keep holding everything together. For a little while now, you can simply breathe. Slowly. Deeply. Without rushing. Without worrying about tomorrow. The future can wait until morning. This moment belongs to rest. And perhaps one of the heaviest things you have carried lately is not physical exhaustion, but emotional exhaustion. That invisible kind of tiredness, where even simple things begin feeling heavy, where your heart quietly longs for peace, where your thoughts become overwhelmed from carrying too much for too long. Some people smile through exhaustion so often. Nobody realizes how deeply tired they truly are. Maybe that has been true for you too. Maybe you kept functioning, kept helping others, kept showing up, while internally, your soul felt worn thin. But tonight, God is not asking you to keep performing strength. He is gently inviting you to rest inside His presence, to let your tired mind soften, to let your nervous system finally unclench, to stop bracing yourself for problems that have not even happened yet. And slowly now, the night itself feels calmer. The darkness no longer feels lonely, because God remains here with you, watching over your life with steady love. There is something deeply comforting about knowing you do not have to hold yourself together perfectly tonight. You are allowed to be emotionally tired, allowed to need rest, allowed to need peace. God understands the limits of the human heart. He understands how exhausting life can become, how anxiety slowly drains energy, how fear quietly steals rest, how overthinking keeps the mind awake long after the body becomes tired. And tonight, He is gently helping your soul release some of that heaviness. Not all at once. There is no pressure here. Healing often happens slowly, like the gradual dimming of daylight into evening, like soft rain settling into dry ground, like waves becoming calmer after a storm. That same quiet gentleness is slowly reaching your heart now. Breathe slowly again. Feel the stillness around you, the softness of the night, the quiet safety of this moment. Nothing is chasing you here. Nothing is demanding answers from you. Nothing needs to be solved right now. This moment is simply for peace, for letting your tired mind finally slow down. And perhaps tonight, God is reminding you of something your anxious thoughts keep making you forget. You were never meant to carry the entire world on your shoulders. You were never meant to live every day trapped in survival mode. You were never created to exist in constant fear, constant tension, constant emotional pressure. Your soul needs rest. Real rest. The kind that reaches deeper than sleep alone. The kind that reminds the heart it is safe again. Safe enough to breathe deeply. Safe enough to stop anticipating disaster. Safe enough to trust God with the night. Even now, while you're heavier, while you're sharp, while the room around you feels quieter, God remains near, steady, peaceful, loving. You do not need to fully understand your future tonight. You do not need to know how every situation will unfold. You do not need to carry every uncertainty alone. God is already present in places your mind has not even reached yet. Already holding tomorrow. Already aware of every detail. Already watching over your life while you... And perhaps, for the first time today, your heart can begin relaxing into that truth. Not because every problem disappeared, but because you are finally remembering. You are not alone inside your struggles. There is a deep exhaustion that comes from overthinking, from mentally replaying everything, from trying to prevent pain before it happens, from carrying invisible fear hour after hour. And eventually, the soul grows very tired. But tonight, God is not adding pressure to your exhausted mind. He is offering stillness, quiet, gentleness, like soft candlelight flickering in the darkness, like distant rain falling against windows late at night. like peaceful silence wrapping itself around a weary heart. That is how his presence, soft, safe, steady, and maybe now, your breathing feels slower than before. Maybe your shoulders feel slightly lighter. Maybe your thoughts are no longer racing quite as fast. Because peace often, quietly, sometimes the body needs time to realize longer has to stay tense. Sometimes the mind reminders that it is safe enough to rest. And tonight, God patiently gives your soul those again and again and again. You are safe here. You are held here. You are not abandoned tonight, even in uncertainty, even in emotional exhaustion, even in hidden sadness. God continues watching over you. There is no fear strong enough to remove His presence. No anxious thought powerful enough to separate you from His care. No exhaustion too deep for His peace to reach. So slowly now, allow your thoughts to loosen their grip. You do not need to mentally rehearse tomorrow. You do not need to predict every possible outcome. You do not need to carry every responsibility into the night. For now, you can simply rest. And perhaps, the darkness itself feels softer now, more comforting, less heavy. The silence no longer feels empty, because God's night with even the air around you feels slower, calmer, still, and as the world outside continues sleeping, your own heart can begin drifting toward rest too. One peaceful breath at a time, one quiet moment at a time, one soft release at a time. There is healing happening in your soul tonight. Even if you cannot fully feel it yet. Healing in the slowing down. Healing in the stillness. Healing in the gentle reminder that you are deeply cared for by God. Not because you performed perfectly today. Not because you stayed strong every moment. But simply because you are His beloved child. And tonight, He watches over you tenderly, without judgment, without pressure, without disappointment. Only love, only calmness, only steady presence. Your tired mind no longer needs to fight the night. Your anxious thoughts no longer need to keep running endlessly. Your exhausted heart no longer needs to carry everything alone. Because God remains awake while you rest, watching over your life, guarding your peace, holding your future. And slowly now, your soul can begin surrendering to sleep. Not out of fear, not out of emotional collapse, but out of peaceful trust. Trust that God will still be here when morning comes. Trust that His presence remains steady through every uncertain season. Trust that tonight, you are safe enough to close your eyes. Safe enough to let go. Safe enough to rest deeply. While God continues watching over you through the quiet hours of the night. The night has become quieter now. Deeper. More peaceful. And perhaps your thoughts are slowly becoming quieter too. Not disappearing all at once, but softening, loosening, drifting more gently through your mind. like distant clouds slowly moving across the dark sky. Without urgency, without pressure. Tonight, you do not need to force yourself into peace. You only need to remain here, breathing slowly, resting quietly, allowing God's presence to surround your tired heart. There is something healing about the stillness of nighttime. The world slows down, the noise fades, the pressure becomes quieter. And in those silent moments, the soul often begins revealing how much it truly needed rest. Maybe you have been strong for too long. Maybe you have spent so much time taking care of responsibilities, meeting expectations, holding emotions inside, that you forgot what it feels like to fully relax, to fully exhale, to feel emotionally safe. But tonight, God gently invites you back into that safety. Not through fear, not through pressure, but through peace, through calmness, through quiet reassurance. You are not carrying this life alone. Even now, while the room around you grows darker, while your body becomes heavier with tiredness, while your breathing slows naturally, God remains close beside you, watching over you tenderly. The beautiful thing about God's presence is that it does not rush you. It does not shame your exhaustion. It does not become impatient with your anxious mind. Instead, His peace moves slowly, patiently, like soft moonlight resting across still water, like warm light glowing quietly in a dark room, like gentle hands calming a frightened heart. And perhaps your heart has been frightened lately, frightened by uncertainty, by stress, by responsibilities, by thoughts about the future. Maybe there are fears you rarely speak aloud, fears hidden beneath daily routines, beneath forced smiles, beneath moments where you try to appear okay. But God sees every hidden fear tonight, every silent burden, every exhausted thought. And instead of turning away, He stays near, remaining calm when your emotions feel overwhelmed, remaining steady when your thoughts feel restless, remaining gentle while your nervous system slowly learns how to rest again. Breathe slowly now. Feel the softness of this moment, the stillness, the quiet safety surrounding you. Nothing is chasing you here. Nothing is demanding more from you tonight. This moment belongs to peace. And maybe your soul has needed peace for a very long time. Not temporary distraction, not emotional numbness, but real peace. The kind that slowly settles deep inside the body. The kind that tells the heart, you are safe now. The body carries stress in quiet ways. Tight muscles, heavy breathing, racing thoughts, constant alertness. Sometimes people become so used to anxiety, they forget what calmness even feels like. But tonight, God is slowly teaching your soul how to rest again. One breath at a time. One peaceful moment at a time. One quiet release at a time. There is no need to rush this process. Healing does not need to happen all at once. Peace does not need to arrive dramatically. Sometimes the deepest healing comes gently, softly, almost silently, like the slow settling of snow during the night, like distant rain easing into silence, like waves calming after a storm has finally passed. And perhaps your inner storm is calming now too. Perhaps your thoughts no longer feel as loud. Perhaps your heartbeat feels steadier. Perhaps your body is beginning to realize it no longer needs to remain in survival mode tonight. Because God is here, watching over you, protecting this moment of rest, holding your exhausted soul with tenderness. You are allowed to stop carrying the day now, allowed to release the pressure, allowed to let tomorrow remain in tomorrow. The future does not need your fear tonight, and your soul does not need it. Needs gentleness, quietness, restoration. Sometimes anxious thoughts convince people that if they stop worrying, everything will fall apart. But worrying through the night has never truly protected your heart. It has only exhausted it. And tonight, God gently whispers peace over your restless mind, reminding you that He remains present even while you sleep, even while your eyes close, even while your thoughts drift into dreams. He continues watching over your life. Steady, faithful, calm. There is comfort in knowing you do not have to stay awake protecting yourself from every possible fear. You are being watched over by a loving God tonight. A God who understands every hidden ache inside your heart. A God who sees your emotional exhaustion without you for it. A God who stays close during lonely nights, during anxious nights, during uncertain nights, and perhaps tonight. You can begin trusting His presence enough to rest deeply. Not because every problem is solved, but because your soul no longer has to carry everything alone. The room around you feels quieter now. The night softer. Your body heavier against the bed beneath you. And slowly, your thoughts continue slowing down. Less urgency, less fear, less tension. The silence no longer feels empty. It feels peaceful, comforting, safe, as though God Himself is gently best, guarding your heart. And maybe tonight, release the fear of tomorrow. Now, tomorrow will arrive when it arrives. Tonight is healing, restoration. Your tired minds, your exhausted body deserves, your anxious heart deserves gentleness. And God lovingly offers those things to you now. Without condition, without pressure, without disappointment. Only love, steady love, quiet love, restful love. Breathe deeply, slowly, gently. Feel your thoughts drifting further apart. Feel the emotional weight becoming lighter. Feel the calmness settling deeper into your chest. You are safe tonight. Safe enough to rest. Safe enough to stop anticipating danger. Safe enough to surrender this night into God's hands. And while the hours continue passing quietly outside, while darkness peacefully covers the earth, while silence fills the room, God continues watching over you, without sleeping, without leaving, without forgetting you. His presence remains steady through every quiet moment, through every slow breath, through every peaceful second, leading your tired soul closer to rest. And now, little by little, without force, without hurry, your mind can continue drifting toward peaceful sleep, while God gently watches over you tonight. The night feels even softer now, quieter, slower, and perhaps your soul is beginning to follow that same gentle rhythm. Less rushing, less tension, less resistance. Your breathing has softened. Your body feels heavier with tiredness. And little by little, your thoughts are no longer gripping so tightly. This is what peace often feels like. Not loud, not dramatic, but quiet, steady, gentle enough for the nervous system to finally stop fighting. And tonight, God continues surrounding you with that quiet peace, like a calm presence remaining beside you through every silent hour, watching over your heart, watching over your mind, watching over every hidden ache you carried into this night. You may have spent so much time surviving lately that resting almost feels unfamiliar. Some people become so used to emotional pressure, they no longer realize how exhausted they truly are. The mind keeps moving. The heart stays guarded. The body remains tense, always preparing for the next worry, the next responsibility, the next painful possibility. But tonight, nothing is asking you to survive. Nothing is asking you to stay mentally alert. Nothing is demanding emotional strength from you anymore. This moment belongs to rest. And God gently protects that rest tonight. Perhaps there were moments today when you felt emotionally overwhelmed. Moments when your thoughts became too heavy. Moments when you quietly wished everything could simply pause for a little while. God saw those moments, even the silent ones, even the hidden ones. He saw the fatigue in your eyes, the pressure in your thoughts, the sadness you tried not to show. And still, He remained close, not with judgment, not with disappointment, but with compassion, with patience, with gentle understanding. There is something deeply healing about being fully seen and still fully loved. And tonight, you are completely seen by God. Every anxious thought, every silent fear, every hidden exhaustion, nothing about your heart is invisible to Him. And somehow, instead of pulling away from your weakness, He moves closer to comfort you within it. So breathe slowly again now. Let your lungs fill deeply. Then gently release the weight of the day. You do not need to hold on to everything tonight. You do not need to keep replaying every fear. You do not need to mentally prepare for every possible tomorrow. Right now, your soul simply needs rest. Safe, deep, peaceful rest. And perhaps the darkness around you no longer feels heavy. Perhaps it feels comforting now, like a quiet shelter from all the noise, like a peaceful pause between yesterday and tomorrow. The night has a way of slowing things down. The lights become dimmer, becomes quieter, and the heart finally has space to breathe again. Tonight, let yourself remain in that quiet space, without pressure, without rushing, needing to solve your life before sleeping. God is already holding tomorrow. You do not need to carry it tonight. And maybe that truth alone can help your tired mind loosen its grip a little more. Your future does not depend on staying anxious through the night. Your safety does not depend on endless overthinking. Your peace does not need to be earned by exhausting yourself. God is watching over you even now. Even while your thoughts drift. Even while your eyes grow heavier. Even while your body slowly sinks deeper into rest. His presence remains steady, faithful, calm, like soft waves gently reaching the shore over and over again. Without urgency, without fear. There is no danger in this moment. No emergency inside this room. No reason your soul must remain trapped in tension tonight. You are safe here. Safe enough to relax your mind. Safe enough to soften your heart. Safe enough to release the pressure you carried all day. And slowly now, your body may already feel warmer, heavier, more relaxed against the bed beneath you. Your breathing may already feel deeper, more natural. Your thoughts may already feel slower, less crowded, less urgent, because peace is quietly settling inside you. The beautiful thing about God's gentleness is that it never forces itself. It simply stays near, patiently, lovingly, waiting for the exhausted soul to finally realize it is safe enough to rest. And tonight, your soul is beginning to realize exactly that. You are safe. Safe in this moment. Safe beneath God's care. Safe enough to stop carrying invisible fear for a little while. Sometimes people fear letting go because they worry everything will collapse if they stop holding it together. But you were never meant to carry the entire weight of life alone. That burden has exhausted your mind long enough. And tonight, God gently invites you to release some of it. Not all at once. Just little by little. Breath by breath. Thought by thought, allowing your heart to become lighter. Imagine your worry slowly loosening from your chest, like leaves drifting quietly down a river at night, floating away softly, without struggle, without force, one fear at a time, one anxious thought at a time, one heavy emotion at a time. God can hold what you no longer need to carry tonight. And as your mind continues slowing down, you may notice the silence becoming more comforting, more peaceful. The night no longer feels lonely, because God's presence gently fills every quiet corner of it. Even now, while much of the world sleeps, He remains near to you, watching over your breathing, your thoughts, your weary heart, and perhaps tonight, You do not need many answers. Perhaps peace is enough for now. Peace to rest. Peace to breathe. Peace to stop fighting invisible battles inside your mind. You have fought hard enough today. Your soul deserves softness now. Gentleness. Stillness. Restoration. The pressure can wait until morning. The future can wait until morning. The unanswered questions can wait. But your exhausted heart needs peace tonight. Real peace. The kind that slowly quiets the nervous system. The kind that gently slows racing thoughts. The kind that reminds the soul. You are deeply loved by God even in your weakest moments. And tonight, that peaceful love surrounds you now. Softly. Steadily. Without condition. Without hurry. So continue breathing slowly. Continue allowing your thoughts to soften. Continue letting your body sink deeper into rest. There is no need to rush toward sleep. The night itself is already carrying you there gently. And God remains beside you through every peaceful moment, through every quiet breath, through every soft wave of calmness moving across your tired heart, watching over you tenderly tonight, protecting your rest, holding your future, and guiding your weary soul gently toward deep and peaceful sleep. The night has become very still now, quiet in a deeper way, as though the entire world is slowly exhaling. And perhaps your soul is beginning to exhale too. The pressure inside your chest no longer feels quite as heavy. The tension in your thoughts no longer feels quite as sharp. Little by little, your mind is loosening its grip on the day. And God remains here beside you, watching over you through every peaceful moment of this night. There is no need to rush yourself now. No need to force sleep. No need to become frustrated with your thoughts. Tonight is not about perfection. It is about rest. Gentle, safe, deep rest. The kind your soul has quietly needed for a long time. Some exhaustion lives deeper than the body. It settles into the emotions, into the nervous system, into the hidden corners of the heart. And eventually, a person can become tired in ways words cannot fully explain. Tired of carrying pressure. Tired of overthinking. Tired of trying to stay emotionally strong all the time. Maybe you know that kind of tiredness. Maybe your soul has been carrying more than anyone realizes. But tonight, God lovingly invites your weary heart to stop striving for a little while. To stop mentally running. To stop carrying invisible burdens through the dark. And simply rest. Rest inside His presence. Rest beneath His protection. Rest while He watches over your life. Even now. While your eyes slowly grow heavier. While your body becomes softer against the bed. While your breathing continues slowing. God remains awake beside you. Steady. Peaceful. Faithful. The silence around you feels calmer now. More comforting. Like a quiet shelter from the heaviness of the world. The darkness no longer feels frightening. Because peace has gently entered the room. And maybe, for the first time today, your nervous system is beginning to believe. You are safe. Safe enough to let your guard down. Safe enough to stop anticipating bad things. Safe enough to release some of the fear your heart has been carrying. Fear exhausts the soul slowly. Sometimes people do not even realize how much fear they are holding. Fear about tomorrow. Fear about finances. Fear about relationship. Fear about losing control. Fear cannot fix. And over time, those fears quietly follow people into the night, keeping the mind alert, keeping the body tense, keeping the heart restless. But tonight, God gently whispers peace over every fearful thought inside you. Not with loudness, not with pressure, but with calmness. Steady calmness, like warm light glowing softly in darkness. Like peaceful rain tapping quietly against windows at night. Like moving slowly beneath the moonlight. That is how God's presence feels tonight. Quietly comforting. Deeply safe. And slowly now, you no longer need to fight every thought that appears in your mind. You can let them pass gently, without attaching fear to them, without chasing them, without allowing them to control your peace. Thoughts are like clouds crossing the night sky. They move, they shift, they fade. And tonight, you do not need to follow every anxious cloud your mind creates. You can simply breathe and let them drift away softly, while God is beneath them all. Perhaps your heart has been longing for this kind of peace, a peace that does not depend on circumstances, a peace that remains even when life feels uncertain. A peace quiet enough to calm your breathing, slow your heartbeat, soften your emotions. And tonight, that peace is slowly surrounding your tired soul. The beautiful thing about nighttime is that it reminds people they were never created to carry endless pressure without rest. Eventually, the body asks for stillness. The heart asks for gentleness. The soul asks for peace. And tonight, God lovingly answers those needs, not by demanding more strength from you, but by inviting you to surrender the weight you have been carrying. You do not need to hold everything together tonight. You do not need to stay mentally prepared for every possible problem. You are allowed to release the burden, allowed to soften, allowed to trust God with the hours ahead. And maybe now, your body feels warmer, more relaxed. Maybe your thoughts are arriving more slowly. Maybe the silence feels softer. Maybe your breathing feels deeper than before. Because your soul is gradually entering rest. Real rest. Not forced. Not rushed. But peaceful. Like slowly floating across calm water beneath the quiet sky. And throughout every quiet second, God remains watching over your sleep before you even fully drift into it. There is comfort in knowing you are protected tonight. Protected from the need to keep carrying the world alone. Protected from the lie that everything depends entirely on your strength. Protected by a God who lovingly stays near exhausted hearts. Even now, while your eyes feel heavier, while your mind drifts further from the worries of the day, God continues peace. Steady peace, gentle peace, restful peace. Your future is still in His hands tonight. Your life is still being held carefully. Your story is still unfolding beneath His care. And because of that, your tired soul can finally begin little by without fear, without resistance. The pressure to control everything can fade now. The pressure to stay emotionally alert can fade now. Because God is here. And His presence is enough for this moment. Enough for your anxious mind. Exhausted. Enough for this quiet night. So breathe slowly again. Feel the softness of the darkness. Feel the calmness settling deeper inside your chest. You are safe tonight. Deeply safe. Safe enough to sleep. Safe enough to release the day. Safe enough to trust that God will continue watching over you while you rest. And while the night continues growing quieter. While the world outside remains still. While your thoughts slowly drift further away. God stays loving you gently through the silence. Protecting your peace. Calming your weary heart. And guiding your soul deep and deeper into peaceful rest. The night feels deeply peaceful now. Soft, quiet, almost weightless. And perhaps your mind is beginning to feel that softness too. The thoughts that once felt loud, urgent, restless, are slowly drifting to the background, becoming quieter, slower, less demanding, and all around you tonight. God's presence remains calm, steady, comforting, like gentle light resting quietly in darkness. You do not need to fight for peace anymore tonight. You do not need to earn it through peace is here. Slowly around your weary heart. Breath, moment by moment. The beautiful thing about rest is that it often arrives gradually. The body softens first. Then the breathing slows. Then the nervous system begins realizing there is no danger here. And finally, the soul begins releasing what it has carried for far too long. Maybe your soul has been carrying invisible weight lately. Weight from stress, disappointment, to stay strong while quietly feeling overwhelmed inside. Some burdens are difficult to explain. People may see your routine, your daily responsibilities, without realizing how emotionally tired you truly feel beneath it all. But God sees the hidden exhaustion tonight. He sees the pressure your mind has carried, the fear your heart has held, the emotional heaviness resting quietly inside you. And His response is not anger, not disappointment, not distance. His response is gentleness, always demanding strength from you. He is offering rest, real rest, the kind that reaches deeper than physical sleep, the kind that slowly comforts the anxious heart, the kind that gently tells the nervous system, you are safe now, and perhaps That is exactly what your heart has needed to hear. You are safe now. Safe enough to breathe slowly. Safe enough to loosen the tension in your chest. Safe enough to stop preparing for worries. Safe enough to close your eyes without fear. Because God Himself is watching over you, even now, while the darkness quietly surrounds the room, while the world outside grows still, while your body sinks deeper into rest. His presence remains close beside you, steady, warm. There is something deeply comforting about knowing you do not have to carry tomorrow tonight. You do not have to solve every problem. You do not have to win every uncertainty. Some things can sit in God's hands for now. And perhaps your tired heart is beginning to release that pressure. Little by little. Without force, without fear. Like floating away on quiet. Like waves beneath moonlight. Like rain breaking into silence after a storm. That same softness is settling over your soul tonight. Breathe deeply again now. Slowly. Gently. Feel the calmness entering your body. Feel your muscles unclenching. Feel the emotional tension slowly leaving your chest. You do not need to remain emotionally guarded tonight. You do not need to keep protecting yourself from every possible outcome. The night was created for rest, for restoration. Tonight, God lovingly covers your weary heart with all three. Perhaps you have spent carrying fear silently. Fear about things changing. Fear about things staying the same. Fear about losing people. Fear about not being enough. Fear about the future. Fear has a way of exhausting the mind slowly, keeping people awake, keeping their thoughts restless, keeping the nervous system trapped in tension. But tonight, God gently quiets those fears, not through force, but through presence. Because peace often comes not from having every answer, but from remembering you are not alone. And tonight, you are deeply cared for, deeply protected, deeply loved, even in your exhaustion, even in your uncertainty, even in your fragile moments. God stays close. The silence around you feels softer now, more comforting, almost sacred in its stillness, as though the night itself is helping your heart slow down, helping your breathing deepen, helping your thoughts drift more peacefully. And maybe now, your eyelids feel heavier, your body warmer, your mind less crowded than before, because your soul is beginning to trust the safety of this moment. Trust the gentleness surrounding you. Trust the steady presence of God beside you. You no longer need to carry today the difficult conversations, the worries, the emotional pressure, the overthinking. All of it can rest now. Not forever, but for tonight. Tonight your soul needs quietness more than answers. Your body needs peace more than pressure. Your heart needs gentleness more than fear. And God lovingly understands that better than anyone. Sometimes people believe they must stay mentally alert at all times, as though worrying somehow protects them. But constant worry only drains the soul. It steals rest. It steals stillness. It steals peace. And tonight, God gently invites you away from that exhausting cycle. Invites you into calmness instead. Into surrender. Into deep emotional rest. The room around you feels calm. The darkness feels safe. The silence feels warm and peaceful now. And within that quietness, God remains near, watching over every breath you take, every slow heartbeat, every moment your tired mind drifts closer toward sleep. You are not forgotten tonight. Invisible. Not abandoned in your struggles. God remembers you completely. Every hidden ache, every unspoken fear, every exhausted part of your soul. His love remains steady enough to calm your anxious, steady enough weary heart, enough to carry you safely. So continue breathing slowly. Continue softening. Continue allowing your thoughts to drift further away. There is no urgency here. No pressure. No danger. Only peace. Quiet peace. Gentle peace. The kind that slowly carries a tired soul toward rest. And as the night grows even deeper now, as silence gently fills every corner of the room, as your body becomes heavy, God continues watching over you lovingly, protecting your sleep, holding your future safely, while your exhausted soul drifts slowly, softly, peacefully, toward deep and healing rest. The night is very quiet now, soft in a deeper way, as though the darkness itself is gently protecting your rest. And perhaps your soul is beginning to feel protected too. Not rushed, not pressured, not overwhelmed, quietly held, quietly comforted, quietly watched over by God. Your breathing has slowed naturally now. Your body feels heavier, warmer, more relaxed beneath the blankets. And little by little, your thoughts are no longer pulling you in so many directions. They are softening, becoming slower, more distant, like quiet echoes fading gently into the night. This is the beginning of deeper rest, not only for the body, but for the system. The weary places inside you that have been carrying too much for too long. Maybe you did not realize how exhausted you truly were. Sometimes people become so accustomed to emotional, they stop noticing the weight they carry every day. The constant thinking, the hidden stress, the silent fears, the pressure to stay strong, the effort of pretending everything is okay. All of its soul. And eventually, the heart simply longs for peace. Real peace. The kind that does not disappear after a few moments. It settles deep. Night, leading you into force, without hurry, like slow wave moonlight, soft rain falling somewhere far away, like the steady quietness of the earth while most of the world sleeps. Calmness is settling over your spirit now, and perhaps you can finally stop fighting yourself tonight. Stop fighting your thoughts. Stop fighting your emotions. Stop trying to solve every fear before sleeping. You are allowed to simply rest. Allowed to simply breathe. Allowed to let God carry what feels too heavy for your heart tonight. There is something healing about surrender. Not giving up, but gently releasing the pressure to control everything. Because some things were never meant to be carried alone. Some fears were never meant to remain trapped inside your chest. Some burdens were never meant to keep your soul awake at night. And tonight, God lovingly whispers, you can let go now. Not all at once. There is no pressure. Just slowly, softly, breath by breath, thought by thought, releasing the emotional weight you no longer need to hold in this moment. The room around you feels peaceful now. The silence feels safe. Even the darkness feels comforting. And maybe your heart is finally beginning to trust this quietness. Trust this stillness. Trust the gentle presence of God surrounding you. There is no fear in this moment. No danger. No reason for your soul to remain trapped in survival mode tonight. You are safe here. Deeply safe. Safe enough to unclench your thoughts. Safe enough to stop anticipating pain. Safe enough to let your breathing become slower and deeper now. God remains beside you through every quiet second, watching over your life tenderly. And while you rest tonight, He continues holding the things you cannot control. The future, the unanswered questions, worries, the fears your mind keeps replaying. You do not need to stay awake carrying. God is still present, still faithful, even in uncertainty, even in seasons you do not fully understand. His peace remains steady, steady enough for your exhausted soul to lean against. Sometimes healing begins the moment a person finally feels emotionally safe. Safe enough to stop pretending. Safe enough to soften. Safe enough to admit they are tired. And perhaps tonight, finally entering a place where fear no longer controls every thought. A place where peace becomes stronger than anger. A place where rest slowly replaces emotional exhaustion. The beautiful thing about God's love is that it remains gentle even when you are fragile, even when your emotions feel messy, even when your mind feels overwhelmed, even when your faith feels tired. He does not step away from you. He stays, quietly, patiently, lovingly, and tonight, His steady presence surrounds you like softness, calming your heart little by little. You no longer need to carry the entire day. The mistakes, the stress, the pressure, the emotion, all of it can slowly fade into the back, because this night is meant for restoration, for sleep, and maybe your body feels that already. the heaviness behind your eyes, the softness in your breathing, the slowing rhythm of your thoughts. Your nervous system is finally beginning to rest, finally beginning to realize you are safe enough to let go. Breathe slowly again now, very gently. There is no rush, no urgency, only stillness, only quietness, only the soft comfort of God watching over you tonight. Imagine your worries becoming lighter now, like mist disappearing slowly before dawn, like leaves drifting silently across calm water, like clouds moving peacefully across a dark sky. Your fears no longer need to stay trapped inside your chest tonight. God can hold them safely while you sleep. And perhaps now, your thoughts are becoming more distant, more dreamlike, less sharp. The world feels slower, quieter. Your body feels deeply relaxed, your heart calmer. And within this peaceful silence, God continues guarding your rest, like a loving presence remaining beside you through the night, protecting your weary soul, protecting your peace, protecting your sleep. You are not alone tonight, not forgotten, not abandoned with your struggles. God remains close to every exhausted part of your heart, and His love is gentle enough, steady enough, quiet enough to carry you peacefully through this night. So can slowly towards sleep. Continue allowing your thoughts to soften and there is nothing you must solve tonight, nothing you must carry alone. Nothing but the peace of God surrounding you now. And as the silence deepens, as the darkness grows softer, as your breathing slows even more, God continues watching over you tenderly, holding your heart safely, while your tired soul drifts deeper and deeper into peaceful, healing rest. The night feels very deep now, quiet in a soft and comforting way, as though the world itself has slowed into peaceful silence. Your soul with it no longer feel as heavy. Your breathing no longer feels rushed. Your body no longer feels prepared for danger. Little by little, the tension is leaving, and God remains here beside you, watching over your heart through every peaceful breath, through every quiet moment, through every slow step toward rest. You have carried enough for one day, enough thinking, enough pressure, enough emotional weight. You no longer need to keep carrying it all. You are allowed to rest now, fully, deeply, without guilt. Sometimes people feel guilty for resting, as though stopping means weakness, as though slowing down means failure. But your soul was never created to live in constant exhaustion. Your mind was never designed to carry endless fear without peace. Your body was never meant to remain tense every hour of every day. And tonight, God reminds your weary heart that rest is holy, rest is healing, rest is necessary. Even now, while your eyes grow heavier, while the silence deepens around you, while your thoughts drift more slowly. God continues watching tenderness. There is no harshness in His presence tonight. No pressure. No disappointment. Always steady gentleness. Soft light in darkness. Calm waves moon. Like a peaceful hand resting over a frightened heart. That is how God stays with you tonight. Calming your nervous system little by little. Perhaps your heart has felt overstimulated for a long time. Too much worry. Too much emotional noise. Too many thoughts pulling your mind in every direction. And eventually, the soul becomes tired in ways sleep alone cannot fix. It needs stillness. It needs emotional safety. It needs peace deep enough to quiet the inside of a person. And tonight, that peace is slowly surrounding you. There is nothing you need to prove here. Nothing you need to fix before sleeping. Nothing you need to understand right now. The future can remain in God's hands tonight. You do not need to carry it through the dark. And perhaps that realization is helping your heart soften now. Helping your thoughts loosen. Helping your body finally begin to trust the quietness of this moment. Breathe slowly again. Very gently. Feel the calmness moving through your chest. Feel the stillness settling into your mind. Feel the tension quietly melting away from your body. Your shoulders no longer need to carry invisible pressure. Your heart no longer needs to stay guarded. Your mind no longer needs to race endlessly through fearful thoughts. You are safe here tonight. Safe enough to let go. Safe enough to slide into God's care. The darkness feels peaceful now. Almost comforting. Like a soft blanket wrapping around the world. The room around you feels calm. Still. Protected. And within that stillness, God remains near. Closer than every fear. Closer than every anxious thought. Closer than every hidden ache you carried into this night. He sees the tiredness inside you. The emotional fatigue. The silent longing for peace. And He lovingly stays beside you through all of it. Not asking you to perform strength. Not asking you to pretend. Simply inviting you to rest. Deeply. Gently. Peacefully. Maybe there were moments recently when you felt emotionally alone. Moments when you really understood how heavy life. God understands. Completely. Even the emotions you cannot fully explain. Even the fear behind silence. The exhaustion you keep carrying quiet. Nothing is unseen and seen by God feels safe. Safe enough for healing to begin. Safe enough for your nervous system to stop fighting. Safe enough for your thoughts to become slower. Softer. Less painful. You do not need to protect yourself from the future tonight. God is already there. You do not need to mentally solve every uncertainty. God is already holding tomorrow. You do not need to stay awake carrying every burden. God lovingly carries what your exhausted heart no longer can. And perhaps now, your body feels deeply relaxed. The heaviness behind your eyes growing stronger. the warmth beneath the blankets becoming comforting. Your breathing steady, slow, peaceful. The silence feels beautiful now. Not empty, but full of gentle safety. Full of the quiet presence of God watching over you. There is inside you tonight. Even subtle. Healing in the slowing down. Healing in the softening. In the realization that you no longer need to survive this night alone. God remains awake while you rest. Guarding your peace. Holding your future carefully. Protecting your tired soul through darkness. And as your thoughts continue drifting further away, becoming softer, more distant, you may begin noticing how peaceful this moment truly feels. No pressure, no urgency, no fear, only quietness, only gentleness, only rest. The world outside feels far away now. The worries of the into silence. And all that remains is the slow rhythm of your breathing, the warmth of safety surrounding you, and the steady peace of God beside you tonight. So continue resting now. Continue drifting slowly towards sleep. There is nothing more you need to carry tonight. Nothing more you need to hold together. Nothing more you need to fear in this moment. You are deeply safe, deeply loved, deeply protected. And while the night continues growing softer around you, while your thoughts gently fade into stillness, while your body settles into deeper rest, God continues watching over you tenderly, holding your weary heart with peace, guiding your exhausted soul gently, quietly, lovingly, into deep and healing sleep. The night feels incredibly still now, soft in the deepest way, as though the darkness itself has become peaceful. And perhaps your soul feels softer too. The tension that once filled your thoughts is fading. The emotional pressure is becoming quieter. Even your breathing feels slower now. Gentler. More restful. This is the quietness your heart has been longing for. Not loud happiness. Not emotional intensity. Just peace. Simple. Safe. Steady peace. And throughout this peaceful night, God remains beside you, watching over every slow breath, every resting heartbeat, every tired part of your soul. You no longer need to carry today. The stress can rest now. The fears can rest now. The overthinking can rest now. Tonight, your mind does not need to solve anything. Your heart does not need to stay alert. Your body does not need to remain tense. You are safe enough to let go. Deeply safe. And perhaps your nervous system is finally beginning to believe that. Perhaps your body is finally realizing there is no danger in this moment. No emergency. No pressure. Only quietness. Only stillness. Only the gentle presence of God surrounding you. Sometimes people become so emotionally exhausted, they forget what calmness feels like. The mind stays busy. The body stays tight. The heart keeps expecting bad news, disappointment, pain, and over time, peace begins feeling unfamiliar. But tonight, God is slowly reintroducing your soul to rest. Real rest. The kind that reaches the deepest anxious places inside you. The kind that softens fear. The kind that quiets racing thoughts without force. Like soft snowfall covering the earth at night. Like distant rain fading gently into silence. Like waves slowly calming beneath moonlight. That same gentle peace is settling deeper into your spirit now. And there is nothing you need to do except receive it. No effort. No striving. No pressure to become emotionally perfect. Just rest. Rest inside the loving care of God tonight. Maybe your heart has been carrying sadness quietly. The kind of sadness people rarely notice. Hidden sadness. Silent exhaustion. The emotional heaviness that appears when a person has simply been strong for too long. God sees that hidden weariness. He sees the nights you pushed yourself beyond your limits. The moments you felt overwhelmed. The fears you never fully explained to anyone. And tonight, He responds with tenderness. Always tenderness. Never shame. Never rejection. Only love steady enough to calm your weary soul. Breathe slowly again now. Feel how peaceful the room has become. Feel how calm your body feels against the bed beneath you. Feel your thoughts drifting more softly, more slowly, without urgency, without fear. You do not need to hold yourself together tonight. God is already holding you. There is something deeply comforting about no longer needing to carry everything alone. And perhaps your heart is beginning to understand that now. The future no longer feels so frightening in this moment, because God is already there. Tomorrow no longer feels so overwhelming, because tonight you are finally resting, finally breathing deeply, finally allowing your exhausted soul to become quiet. And as your thoughts continue softening, the silence around you becomes even more comforting. The darkness feels warm now, protective, safe, like a peaceful covering placed gently over the world. And somewhere within that stillness, God continues watching over you with unwavering love. Even while your eyes grow heavier, even while your mind drifts further towards sleep, even while your body surrenders more completely into rest, He remains near, steady, faithful, calm. You are not forgotten tonight, not overlooked, not abandoned inside your struggles. God remembers every detail of your life, every hidden fear, every silent prayer, every exhausted part of your heart. And still, He stays close. Close enough for your soul to finally stop fighting. Close enough for your mind to become quiet. Close enough for your body to fully relax. Perhaps tonight, you can release the pressure to understand everything. You do not need every answer right now. Peace is enough for this moment. Rest is enough for this moment. God's presence is enough for this moment. And slowly, very slowly, your heart is beginning to settle into that truth. The beautiful thing about peaceful nights like this is that they remind the soul it was never created for endless striving. The soul was created for closeness, for stillness, for quiet trust. And tonight, God gently restores those things inside you. Through silence, through calmness, through rest. Your breathing feels soft now. Steady. Slow. Your muscles are relaxed. Your thoughts no longer feel crowded. Even your emotions feel quieter. More distant. Less painful. Because peace is slowly carrying your soul deeper into safety. There is no need to resist sleep now. No need to hold on to the worries of the day. No need to mentally rehearse tomorrow. The night itself is already guiding you gently toward rest. And God lovingly remains beside you through every moment of it. Protecting your peace. Guarding your heart. Watching over your dreams before they even begin. Imagine every anxious thought slowly dissolving now. Like mist fading before morning light. Like waves disappearing softly into still water. Like wind becoming silent after a storm. Your mind no longer needs to race. Your soul no longer needs to stay prepared for pain. You are safe. Completely safe. Held gently by the presence of God tonight. And as your consciousness softer, sleepier, more peaceful, the world around you feels farther away. Quieter. Lighter. Nothing matters right now except rest. Deep. Healing. Peaceful rest. And while you drift further into that rest tonight, while your breathing slows even more, while your thoughts become distant and dreamlike, God continues watching over you tenderly, loving you through the silence, holding your weary soul carefully, and carrying you gently, softly, peacefully, toward deep and restorative sleep. The night has become deeply peaceful now, almost completely silent. And perhaps your heart is becoming silent too. The fears that once felt loud are fading further away. The tension is leaving your body little by little. Even your thoughts feel softer now. Slower. More distant. Like quiet waves disappearing into darkness. And through this calm and gentle night, God continues watching over you. With steady love. With patient tenderness. With peaceful care. You do not need to stay awake protecting yourself anymore tonight. You do not need to keep carrying invisible pressure. You do not need to prepare your mind for every possible tomorrow. The night was never meant for endless striving. It was meant for rest, for restoration, for surrender. And tonight, your weary soul is finally beginning to enter that place of rest. Breathe slowly now, very softly. Feel the calmness inside your chest. Feel the heaviness behind your eyes. Feel the quiet stillness surrounding you like a soft blanket. There is no danger here. No urgency. No pressure. Only peace. Deep, gentle peace. Sometimes exhausted hearts become afraid of silence. Because silence leaves room for thoughts to surface. For emotions to appear. For hidden fears to become noticeable. But tonight, the silence is not against you. It is comforting you, holding you gently, creating space for your soul to finally breathe again. And within this quietness, God remains near, closer than every anxious thought, closer than every hidden fear, closer than the emotional exhaustion you carried into this night. He sees everything, every burden, every silent ache, every weary place inside your heart. And still, He stays beside you lovingly, never rushing you, never condemning your weakness, only comforting you through the darkness. The beautiful thing about God's presence is that it remains steady even when emotions change, even when your mind feels uncertain, even when life feels overwhelming. His peace does not disappear. It remains soft, constant, faithful, like distant stars remaining quietly above the earth through the night. Tonight, that steady peace surrounds you now, and perhaps your body is fully beginning to trust it. Your muscles feel relaxed. Your breathing feels natural and deep. Your thoughts are no longer pulling at you so strongly, because your nervous system is slowly realizing you are safe, deeply safe, safe enough to sleep peacefully, safe enough to stop carrying fear, safe enough to release control, maybe for a long time. Your mind has felt responsible for protecting you from pain, always thinking, always anticipating, always preparing for what could go wrong. But constant vigilance exhausts the soul. And tonight, God gently lifts the burden from your tired heart, reminding you that you do not need to carry everything alone. He is already watching over your future, already present in tomorrow, already holding the situations you cannot control. And because of that, you can finally rest, fully, deeply, without fear. The room feels peaceful now. The darkness feels soft. The silence feels warm and comforting. And somewhere within this stillness, your soul is slowly healing. Healing from emotional exhaustion. Healing from overthinking. Healing from the endless pressure of trying to hold everything together. You have tried so hard, perhaps harder than anyone realizes. And tonight, God lovingly invites you to stop striving for a little while, to simply exist within His peace, without needing to prove anything, without needing to explain your tiredness, without needing to keep fighting invisible battles inside your mind. There is rest here for you tonight. Real rest, not temporary escape, but deep emotional quietness. The kind that gently settles into the body. The kind that slows the heartbeat. The kind that softens anxious thoughts until they drift away peacefully. And perhaps now, your thoughts already feel dreamlike. Less focused. Less heavy. The worries of the day feel farther away now. The future feels quieter. Less frightening. Because your soul is no longer carrying it alone. God remains here, steady beside you, watching over your life while you rest. Even now, while sleep slowly draws closer, while your consciousness becomes softer, while your breathing deepens further, His presence remains calm, protective, loving, You are not forgotten in this moment. Not unseen. Not abandoned. God remembers every hidden detail of your life. Every fear you never spoke aloud. Every prayer whispered silently in exhaustion. Every moment you felt emotionally overwhelmed. And through all of it, He stayed close. Close enough to comfort your weary soul tonight. Close enough to calm your restless mind. Close enough to carry you gently toward peaceful sleep. There is no need to rush anything now. The night itself is already slowing everything down. Your thoughts, your breathing, your heartbeat, your emotions, all becoming softer now, quieter, more peaceful, like the earth resting beneath a calm midnight sky. Breathe slowly again, very gently. Feel your entire body relaxing deeper. Feel the emotional heaviness continuing to melt away. Feel the safety of this quiet moment. You are protected tonight. Protected by the loving presence of God surrounding you. And nothing about this moment needs to be feared. Nothing needs to be solved. Nothing needs to be controlled. Only rest. Only stillness. Only peace. And as your eyes grow heavier now, as your thoughts drift softly through silence, as your soul settles deeper into calmness, God continues watching over you tenderly, guarding your sleep, holding your heart safely, loving you quietly through the darkness, while your exhausted spirit drifts farther and farther into deep, peaceful, healing rest. The night feels deeply distant now. Soft, silent, almost dreamlike. And perhaps your soul feels dreamlike too, floating gently away from the weight of the day, away from the pressure, away from the noise that once filled your thoughts. Everything feels slower now. Your breathing, your heartbeat, your mind. The tension that once lived inside your chest is fading quietly. And God remains beside you through every peaceful second of this night, watching over you tenderly, without leaving, without sleeping, without forgetting you. There is something beautiful about this kind of stillness. The kind that gently quiets the nervous system. The kind that softens anxious thoughts until they lose their urgency. The kind that reminds the exhausted soul it no longer has to fight. And tonight, you no longer need to fight. Not your fears. Not your thoughts. Not your exhaustion. You are safe enough to rest now. Deeply safe. Completely held by the quiet presence of God. The room around you feels peaceful, calm, almost sacred in its silence. The darkness no longer feels heavy. It feels protective. Like the night itself is carefully holding your weary soul. And somewhere within this stillness, your heart is healing. Slowly, softly, without pressure. Healing does not always arrive loudly. Sometimes it comes through quiet nights like this. Through slow breathing. Through gentle surrender. Through finally allowing yourself to rest in God's care. And perhaps tonight, your soul is beginning to trust that care more deeply. Perhaps your body is fully relaxing now. Every muscle softer. Every breath slower. Every thought more distant. The worries that once felt overwhelming no longer seem so close. They are fading into the background, becoming quieter, less important, because peace is becoming stronger than fear. There is no need to rush toward sleep. Sleep is already finding you gently, like soft waves carrying you farther from the shore, like calm darkness wrapping itself around the world, like quiet rain easing the earth into rest. That same peaceful rhythm is carrying your soul tonight, and through it all, God continues watching over you with tenderness. He sees how tired you have been, how hard you have tried, how long you have carried emotional heaviness in silence. And tonight, He lovingly invites you to put that weight down. Not forever, but long enough for your heart to rest. Your future can remain safely in His hands tonight. The unanswered questions can remain in His hands. The fears, the stress, the things you cannot control, none of them need to follow you deeper into this night. God is already holding them gently. While you rest, there is deep comfort in realizing you are not responsible for carrying everything alone. You were never meant to. And tonight, your soul is slowly releasing that burden. Breath by breath, moment by moment, until all that remains is stillness, quietness, peace. Perhaps your thoughts already feel blurry now, soft around the edges, drifting slowly like clouds across a midnight sky. Your body feels warm, heavy, deeply relaxed beneath the blankets. Your heart beats steady and calm. The silence around you feels beautiful now. Not empty, but full of safety, full of gentle peace, full of God's loving presence. You are not abandoned tonight, not unseen, not forgotten inside your struggles. God remembers every hidden part of your story, every silent prayer, every exhausted tear, every moment you felt emotionally overwhelmed. And through every season, He remained close. Close enough to comfort your soul tonight. Close enough to calm your anxious mind. Close enough to gently guide you toward rest. Breathe slowly again now. Very softly. There is no urgency left in this moment. No pressure. No fear. Only peace. Steady peace. Quiet peace. The kind that slowly carries a weary soul into deep sleep. And maybe now, you can feel how safe this moment truly is. Safe enough to release control. Safe enough to stop overthinking. Safe enough to let tomorrow wait until morning. Tonight belongs to rest, to healing, to stillness. The world outside feels very far away now, quiet and distant, while inside this peaceful darkness, your soul continues drifting deeper into calmness, deeper into safety, deeper into quiet surrender. And God remains there through all of it, watching over every breath, every dream, every peaceful second of your sleep. like a loving presence sitting quietly beside you through the night, protecting your heart from fear, protecting your mind from chaos, protecting your rest with gentle tenderness. You no longer need to carry today. It is over now. You survived it. And tonight, you are allowed to simply rest. Fully, deeply, without guilt, without fear, without striving, only breathing softly, only drifting peacefully, only resting safely beneath the care of God. And as your thoughts become even quieter now, as your consciousness slowly fades into peaceful sleep, as your soul settles fully into stillness, God continues holding you gently through the darkness, watching over you with endless love, guiding your weary heart deeper and deeper into peaceful, restful, healing sleep. The night feels incredibly soft now, quiet beyond words, as though the entire world has gently faded into stillness. And perhaps your soul has faded into stillness too. Your thoughts feel distant now, slow, dreamlike, no longer pulling at you with urgency, no longer asking you to carry everything alone. The weight of the day is slipping further away, and God remains here beside you, watching over you with gentle peace. Through every slow breath, through every quiet heartbeat, through every peaceful moment leading you deeper into rest. There is nothing you need to do anymore tonight. Nothing to solve. Nothing to prove. Nothing to fear. Only rest. Only calmness. Only the quiet safety of God's presence surrounding your weary soul. The darkness feels warm now, comforting, protective, like soft night air wrapping itself gently around the earth. The silence feels peaceful, not empty, not lonely, but full of quiet love, full of stillness, full of rest, and perhaps, for the first time in a long while, your heart no longer feels pressure to stay strong. Tonight, you are simply allowed to be held. Held by peace. Held by gentleness. Held by God's faithful presence. Your body feels deeply relaxed now. Every breath slow and natural. Every muscle softening further. The heaviness behind your eyes growing stronger. Your thoughts drifting farther away from the worries that once felt so loud. Everything feels quieter, softer, safer, because your soul is slowly surrendering fully into rest. And maybe, deep inside, you are beginning to realize something beautiful tonight. You were never abandoned. Not during your anxious moments. Not during the exhausting seasons. Not during the nights when fear felt overwhelming. God remained close through all of it. Steady, patient, loving. Even when your mind felt restless. Even when your emotions felt fragile. Even when you felt too tired to keep carrying everything. His presence never left you. And tonight, that loving presence gently surrounds you now, like calm waves moving endlessly beneath moonlight. Soft, steady, peaceful. There is no need to resist sleep anymore. Sleep is already gently finding you. Your nervous system is deeply relaxing now. Your heart is becoming quiet. Your breathing feels almost effortless. And every peaceful second carries you farther from fear, farther from pressure, farther from emotional exhaustion. You are safe tonight. Completely safe. Safe enough to let your thoughts fade softly into silence. Safe enough to stop anticipating problems. Safe enough to trust God with the night. The future no longer needs your attention right now. Tomorrow can wait. The unanswered questions can wait. The fears can wait. This moment belongs only to peace. And God lovingly protects that peace around you. Perhaps now, your mind feels like calm water at night. Still, gentle, quiet beneath the stars. The emotional noise has faded. The tension has melted away. Even the deepest worries seem distant now. Because your soul is resting inside something stronger than fear. Resting inside the steady love of God. Breathe softly again. Very slowly. Feel the calmness filling every part of your body. Feel the quiet safety surrounding you. Feel yourself drifting deeper and deeper into rest. There is healing happening in this stillness. Healing in the slowing down. Healing in the surrender. Healing in finally realizing you do not need to carry life alone anymore. God is already carrying what exhausted you. Already holding what overwhelmed you. Already watching over the parts of your life you cannot control. And because of that, your weary soul can finally sleep peacefully tonight. The room around you feels almost distant now. The world outside feels quiet and far away. And all that remains is stillness, gentleness, soft breathing, and the comforting presence of God beside you, like someone lovingly sitting near you in the dark, guarding your rest, protecting your peace, making sure your exhausted heart can finally relax. You are deeply loved tonight. Not because you were perfect today. Not because you stayed strong every moment. But simply because God's love for you remains constant. Steady. Unchanging. Quietly faithful through every season of your life. And tonight, that love becomes a place of rest for your soul. A peaceful shelter. A quiet refuge. A calm place where fear no longer needs to survive. The night continues growing softer, deeper, more silent, and your thoughts continue fading gently into that silence, becoming slower, lighter, more peaceful. Sleep is very close now, soft and calm. Like drifting slowly across quiet water beneath a dark and peaceful sky. And while you drift deeper into rest tonight, God continues watching over you tenderly, watching over your breathing, your dreams, your weary heart, holding every part of you safely through the darkness. There is nothing left to fear here, nothing left to carry. Nothing left to fight tonight. Only rest. Only peace. Only the quiet comfort of being held by God. So continue drifting now. Slowly. Gently. Peacefully. While your body relaxes deeper. While your thoughts disappear softly into stillness. While your soul settles completely into calmness. and through every quiet hour ahead, through every peaceful dream, through every moment of healing rest, God remains beside you lovingly, guiding your tired heart farther and farther into deep, safe, peaceful sleep. The night is very deep now, quiet beyond thought, quiet beyond effort, and perhaps your soul has become quiet too. Your breathing feels soft and slow. Your body feels completely relaxed beneath the blankets. Your thoughts feel distant now, like fading echoes disappearing gently into darkness. There is almost nothing left to carry in this moment. Only stillness. Only peace. Only the quiet presence of God surrounding you tonight. The world outside feels far away now. Silent streets. Sleeping homes. Dim lights glowing softly in the distance. Everything resting beneath the calmness of night. And here, within this peaceful silence, your weary soul is finally resting too. No pressure remains. No urgency. No emotional striving. Only gentle surrender. You no longer need to think so hard tonight. You no longer need to stay prepared for tomorrow. God is already there. Already holding what concerns you. Already watching over what your mind cannot control. And because of that, your heart can continue letting go now. Deeper, softer, more completely. Perhaps you can feel how calm your body has become. The muscles in your face relaxed. Your shoulders resting heavily. Your heartbeat steady and slow. Even your thoughts seem to dissolve before they fully form. Because peace has settled deeply into your spirit now. This is what safety feels like. Quiet. Warm. Steady. Not dramatic. Not loud. Just deeply calming. Deeply restful. And tonight, God lovingly surrounds you with that safety. Like soft arms wrapped around an exhausted soul. Like gentle light glowing through darkness. Like calm waves carrying you farther away from fear. There is no need to resist this rest. You are allowed to drift. Allowed to become sleepy. Allowed to release every remaining burden from your heart tonight. The fears no longer feel sharp. The worries no longer feel close. Even the sadness feels distant now. Because your soul is resting inside something deeper than emotion. Resting inside the steady peace of God. And perhaps now, you can feel how loved you truly are. Loved in your weakness. Loved in your exhaustion. Loved even in the moments when your faith felt tired. God never asked you to carry life perfectly. He only continues drawing close to you with tenderness. Again. And again. And again. Tonight, that tenderness fills the silence around you. The room feels peaceful. Safe. Almost sacred in its stillness. And little by little, your awareness continues fading softly into rest. Your thoughts drifting farther apart. Your breathing becoming slower. Your consciousness becoming lighter. Sleep is gently surrounding you now. Like soft darkness wrapping itself around the earth. There is no need to stay awake protecting yourself tonight. No need to monitor every fear. No need to replay the day again. You survived today. And now your exhausted soul deserves peace. Real peace. Deep peace. The kind that restores the heart quietly while the world sleeps. God watches over you lovingly through every moment of this night. Without growing tired. Without leaving your side. Without forgetting a single detail of your life. Even now, while your mind becomes softer and dreamlike, His presence remains constant, steady enough to calm every anxious place inside you, steady enough to protect your rest, steady enough to carry your weary heart through the darkness. Breathe softly again now, very slowly. Feel yourself sinking deeper into calmness, deeper into stillness, deeper into peaceful surrender. There is nothing left to fear here, nothing left to solve, nothing left to carry alone. Only quietness, only warmth, only the gentle comfort of God staying beside you tonight. Maybe your thoughts are barely whispers now, soft, faint, floating peacefully through silence. And maybe your body feels wonderfully heavy, resting fully, relaxed completely, safe enough to let sleep come naturally now. Because your soul finally knows. It is being watched over with love. The night continues growing softer around you, deeper, more silent. The darkness feels calm and beautiful now, like a peaceful ocean stretching endlessly beneath the stars. And your tired heart drifts quietly across that calmness, without fear, without tension, without pressure. Only peace remains. The kind of peace that cannot be forced, only received. And tonight, your soul receives it fully. God's presence remains close beside you, like gentle warmth in the darkness, guarding your dreams before they even begin, protecting your heart while you sleep, holding your future safely while your mind rests. You are not alone tonight, not forgotten, not abandoned inside your struggles. You are deeply cared for, deeply protected, deeply loved. And because of that, your soul no longer needs to stay awake carrying fear. You can rest now, fully, deeply, peacefully. Let your thoughts continue fading softly away. Let your breathing become even slower. Let your body surrender completely into rest. Sleep is carrying you gently now, farther from worry, farther from pressure, farther from emotional exhaustion, and through every peaceful hour ahead, through every quiet dream, through every moment of healing rest. God continues watching over you tenderly, holding your weary spirit safely, guiding your heart deeper and deeper into quiet, restful, peaceful sleep. The night feels almost completely weightless now. Soft, silent, peaceful in the deepest way. And perhaps your soul feels weightless too, as though all the heaviness you carried through the day has slowly drifted away into the darkness. Your breathing is slow now, steady, Calm. Your body rests fully beneath the blankets. Warm, safe, deeply relaxed. And your thoughts, once loud and restless, have become quiet whispers fading gently into stillness. God remains beside you through every peaceful second of this night, watching over you tenderly, without interruption, without distance, without ever leaving your side. There is nothing left you need to hold on to tonight. No pressure, no striving, no fear, only rest, only peace, only the comforting presence of God surrounding your weary heart. The silence feels beautiful now, not empty, but full of gentleness, full of safety, full of calm love. Like the entire night has become a peaceful shelter for your soul. And within this quiet shelter, you are finally allowed to let go completely. You no longer need to replay conversations. No longer need to prepare for tomorrow. No longer need to search for answers before sleeping. The future can remain safely in God's hands tonight, while your exhausted heart finally rests. Perhaps now, your thoughts feel soft and distant, like stars fading slowly behind clouds. There is no urgency left inside your mind, no tension pulling at your chest, no emotional weight demanding your attention. Only stillness remains. Deep, gentle, healing stillness. And maybe, for the first time in a long while, your soul truly feels safe. Safe enough to stop overthinking. Safe enough to release fear. Safe enough to trust that God is still watching over every detail of your life. Even while you sleep. Even while your mind drifts into dreams. Even while the world remains quiet and dark outside. His love continues surrounding you. Steady. Faithful. Soft as moonlight resting across calm water. You have carried enough for one day. You tried hard enough. You worried enough. You survived enough. Tonight, you are simply allowed to rest. Nothing more is required from you now. And perhaps your body already understands that. The heaviness in your limbs, the softness in your breathing, the warmth spreading through your chest. Your nervous system has slowly stopped fighting, slowly stopped bracing itself against invisible fear, because peace has settled deeply inside you now. There is healing in this surrender. Healing in it. You are free to rest now. Fully, deeply, without guilt. The room around you feels very distant, very quiet, almost floating in silence. And within that silence, God remains close, like gentle warmth beside you in the darkness, like calm breathing in the middle of the night, like a peaceful presence guarding your sleep. You are protected tonight, protected from the need to keep striving, protected from the exhausting pressure to control everything, protected by a God who understands every fragile part of your heart, and still loves you completely. Perhaps now, sleep is beginning to pull you deeper. Softly, naturally, your thoughts becoming slower, your awareness fading gently into rest. Your breathing carrying you farther into calmness with every slow inhale. There is no fear here. Only safety. Only peace. Only the quiet comfort of God remaining beside you through the night. The darkness no longer feels lonely. It feels restful. Beautifully restful. Like the world itself is sleeping peacefully beneath God's care. And your soul is becoming part of that peaceful stillness now. Drifting quietly. Resting deeply. Letting go completely. You no longer need to protect yourself from tomorrow tonight. God is already there waiting for you. Already holding the future carefully. Already preparing peace for the days ahead. And because of that, your weary soul can finally release every remaining burden now. Like leaves falling softly from trees into quiet earth. Like waves settling into calm water after a storm. Like rain fading gently into silence before dawn. Everything inside you is slowing now. Softening. Resting. Healing. And through every quiet second, God continues watching over you lovingly. Without sleeping. Without leaving. Without forgetting you. You are deeply loved tonight. Even in your exhaustion. Even in your uncertainty. Even in the fragile places nobody else sees. God remains close. Steady enough to calm every fear. Gentle enough to quiet every anxious thought. Loving enough to carry your soul peacefully into sleep. Breathe softly again now. Very slowly. Feel your body sinking deeper into rest. Feel your thoughts drifting farther away. Feel the safety of this peaceful night surrounding you completely. Nothing more is needed tonight. Only rest. Only stillness. Only sleep. And as your consciousness grows softer now, as dreams begin quietly forming in the distance, as your tired heart fully surrenders into peace, God continues watching over you tenderly, holding your spirit safely through the darkness, guiding your soul deeper and deeper into calm, healing, peaceful sleep. The night is almost completely silent now. So quiet. So gentle. As though the world itself has disappeared into peaceful rest. And perhaps your soul has disappeared into that peace too. Your breathing is slow and effortless. Your body feels warm and deeply relaxed. Your thoughts are faint now. Soft. Distant. Barely drifting through the quiet darkness. There is nothing left to carry tonight. Nothing left to solve. Nothing left to fear. Only rest remains. Deep. Safe. Healing rest. And through this calm and sacred stillness, God continues watching over you lovingly. Without interruption. Without distance. Without ever leaving your side. You are completely safe here. Safe enough to surrender fully into sleep. Safe enough to stop holding tension inside your chest. Safe enough to let your thoughts dissolve softly into silence. The pressure of the day is gone now. The emotional weight is fading. The worries feel far away. Everything is becoming softer, quieter, lighter, and perhaps your heart is finally realizing It no longer needs to fight. There is peace surrounding you tonight. Steady peace. The kind that gently carries tired souls into deep rest. Like calm water beneath moonlight. Like quiet wind moving through trees at midnight. Like soft rain falling far away while the world sleeps. That same peaceful rhythm is carrying you now. Farther from fear. Farther from stress. Farther from emotional exhaustion. God remains near through every quiet moment. Watching over your breathing. Your dreams. Your weary heart. You are not forgotten tonight. Not unseen. Not alone inside the darkness. God knows every fragile part of you. Every silent ache. Every hidden exhaustion. Every fear you carried quietly through the day. And still, His love remains soft, steady, unshaken. Tonight, that love becomes a resting place for your soul. A peaceful shelter. A quiet refuge where your mind no longer needs to race. Perhaps your thoughts already feel like distant clouds now, slowly disappearing into the night sky. There is no urgency left inside you. No pressure. No striving. Only stillness. Only surrender. Only the gentle comfort of God staying beside you while you sleep. Your body feels heavy now. Deeply calm. Completely relaxed. Every breath carries you farther into rest. Every quiet second softens your awareness even more. Sleep is no longer something you must search for. It is already surrounding you. Gently. Naturally. Peacefully. And there is something beautiful about letting yourself drift. Without resistance. Without fear. Trusting that God remains awake while you rest. Holding your future safely. Holding your life carefully. Holding every unanswered question in loving hands. You no longer need to think about tomorrow tonight. Tomorrow belongs to tomorrow. This moment belongs only to peace. And perhaps now, peace feels deeper than words, deeper than thought, almost like floating gently through silence. The room around you feels distant, the world outside quiet and far away. Everything wrapped in darkness, everything wrapped in calmness. And somewhere within that calmness, your soul is resting safely in God's presence. Like a child finally sleeping peacefully after a long and exhausting day. Completely protected. Completely held. Completely safe. There is no fear here now. Only quietness. Only warmth. Only the steady rhythm of peaceful breathing. Your heart no longer needs to stay guarded tonight. Your nervous system no longer needs to remain alert. Your mind no longer needs to search endlessly for answers. Everything inside you is slowly becoming still. Soft. Silent. Peaceful. And through every moment of this gentle stillness, God continues watching over you. Faithfully. Tenderly. Lovingly. Perhaps sleep is already pulling you deeper now. Your awareness fading softly. Your thoughts becoming dreamlike. Your body surrendering more completely into rest. This is where healing quietly happens. Not through effort. not through striving, but through peaceful surrender. Through finally allowing yourself to rest inside God's care. You have carried enough, worried enough, overthought enough. Tonight, your soul deserves peace, and God lovingly gives that peace freely, without condition, without pressure, without asking anything from you except rest. So continue drifting now, slowly, softly, peacefully. Let the silence carry you deeper. Let your breathing become slower still. Let your thoughts disappear gently into darkness. The night is holding you softly now, and God remains beside you through every peaceful second, guarding your sleep, protecting your heart, watching over your dreams with endless tenderness. Nothing can harm this peaceful moment. Nothing can steal the calmness surrounding your soul. You are deeply safe, deeply loved, deeply protected tonight. And as sleep carries you farther now, farther into quietness, farther into healing rest, God continues holding you gently through the darkness, loving you without interruption, surrounding your weary spirit with peace, guiding your tired heart deeper and deeper into soft, restful, peaceful sleep. The night is completely quiet now, soft beyond words, peaceful beyond thought, and perhaps your soul has become completely peaceful too. Your breathing is slow, steady, gentle. Your body rests deeply now, warm beneath the blankets, heavy with calmness, fully surrendered into rest. And your thoughts, once restless, once crowded with worry, have faded softly into silence. There is almost nothing left now except peace. Deep, still, healing peace. And through this final quietness of the night, God continues watching over you lovingly, without leaving, without sleeping, without ever forgetting you. You are safe tonight, completely safe. Safe enough to let go of every remaining fear. Safe enough to stop carrying tomorrow. Safe enough to drift fully into peaceful sleep. The darkness around you feels soft now, almost beautiful in its stillness. Like the whole world has become calm beneath the night sky. And somewhere inside that calmness, your weary soul rests safely in the gentle care of God. There is no pressure left here. No striving. No emotional weight pulling at your heart. Only quiet surrender. Only stillness. Only the steady comfort of being deeply loved. Perhaps now, you can barely feel the worries that once felt so heavy. They are distant, fading, quiet, like waves disappearing softly into the shore at night. Your nervous system has relaxed completely. Your heartbeat feels calm. Your breathing effortless. Everything inside you is becoming still. And within that stillness, God's presence remains constant. Soft as moonlight, steady as the stars above, gentle as calm water beneath the night sky. You no longer need to hold yourself together tonight. God is already holding you. holding your future, holding your fears, holding every exhausted part of your heart with tenderness. There is deep comfort in finally letting yourself rest completely, not half resting, not sleeping while still mentally fighting, but truly surrendering into peace, trusting that God remains beside you through every hour of darkness. Even now, while sleep surrounds you more deeply, while your awareness drifts softly toward dreams, His love continues covering you gently, protecting your heart, protecting your mind, protecting your rest. You are not alone tonight, not forgotten, not abandoned inside your struggles. God has remained with you through every difficult season, through every anxious night, through every moment you quietly wondered if things would ever feel peaceful again. And tonight, peace has finally wrapped itself softly around your soul. The room feels distant now, the world outside completely quiet, everything resting, everything still. And within that sacred stillness, your tired spirit is finally breathing without fear, finally resting without pressure, finally safe enough to sleep deeply. Breathe softly again now, very slowly. Feel the calmness carrying you farther. Feel the silence becoming warmer. Feel your soul drifting deeper into rest. There is nothing left you must do tonight. Nothing left you must solve. Nothing left you must carry. Only sleep remains. Gentle, peaceful, healing sleep. And perhaps this peace feels deeper than words now, almost like floating quietly through darkness without fear, almost like resting safely in calm waters beneath the stars, almost like being held gently by God Himself. Tonight, your weary heart can finally stop striving. The fear can rest. The sadness can rest. The overthinking can rest. Everything inside you can simply become quiet now, because God is watching over you tonight. Steadily, faithfully, lovingly, and while you sleep, He remains near, watching over every breath, every dream, every peaceful moment of rest. Nothing can separate you from His care tonight. Nothing can steal the calmness surrounding your soul now. You are deeply protected, deeply comforted, deeply loved. The night continues becoming softer, deeper, more peaceful, and your consciousness drifts gently with it, farther from stress, farther from emotional exhaustion, farther from every burden you carried through the day, until all that remains is stillness, quietness, peace, and as sleep fully carries you now, as your thoughts disappear completely into gentle darkness, as your tired soul rests deeply beneath God's loving presence. He continues watching over you tenderly through the night, holding your spirit safely, covering your heart with peace, surrounding your dreams with calmness, while you drift deeper and deeper into healing, restful, peaceful sleep. Tonight, you can finally rest, because God is still with you, and He will continue watching over you. all through the night.